Hello and welcome back. Tanchaz Talk, the world's only English language program focusing primarily on Hungarian folk music. Let's get to it. Shows live on Facebook. People coming already and I love it. This is Kalman Magyar Öcsi at your service tonight. Live from the law office of Magyar, Bogle and O'Hara in Toronto, Canada. Back one more time, the chaos of a live show. No theme song here, no foreplay, let's just get right to the point. People coming in, Erika Pinto, Sia Erika. From Transylvania, Zina, Budapest, George from Pittsburgh, Mr. Ancevic from Pittsburgh, Jessica Paulus, Montreal, bonjour. Randy Kulchar, servus. Sarah Bruins is here. From Madison, Wisconsin. Wake your friends up, folks, bring them on. Tanchaz Talk, episode 4. We're listening to the Maros Gypsy Band. Maros Gypsy Band, Jakab Attila the Primás. Fantastic stuff, here we go. Haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to Tanchaz Talk on YouTube. Also check out Tanchaz.com page. From there you can download episodes right into your iTunes or your phone or whatever you want. Tanchaz.com. Caffeinated music at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. calling in or tuning in from all over the world today. Wow, look at this. Andrew Timad from Toronto. Michelle K from New Jersey. Tomasz Poda from Calgary. Welcome everybody. George Furman, Mezei Mario, Vestafura, Julie Johnson, Budapest. Shalamon Andrea, Detroit. Andrea Lauer Rice from Atlanta. Hey everybody. Whoa, leave that to the professionals at the end there. That was Jaka Bottilla and the Maros Gypsy Band from Varosvásárhely. Welcome back to the chaos of the live show, Tanchaz Talk episode 4 today. Tonight we'll be together for about 90 minutes or so, and I'm so happy that you're back. I'm getting some very nice comments, very nice feedback about the shows so far, and I'm really enjoying them. And I hope you got a chance to see our my first ever non-live episode, and that was with Netti Shanyibachi's music, and that was a very special one. And please make sure you subscribe on YouTube to our page, or check out Tanchaz.com for downloadable episodes. Let's see who's checking in. Újvári Lehel, Kati Lamont from Washington, Újvári Lehel from Hungary, Vörös Sándor from Edmonton, Slavazin from Hamilton, Anjka, I think that's Montreal, Anuj. Wow, I'm so happy that we're all together tonight. Tonight we're gonna go some old school music, going back to the Eletfa days for me, and something new as well that no one's ever heard before. The Carpathian Invasion Band that we put together for a quick weekend. We went to London. I'll tell you all about that, and there's some other goodies today, and I'll try to keep up with the nice comments, and if you have mean comments, I'll keep up with you too. And I'm so very happy that that you're with me today. And if you have some requests, I'll try to play them, but it might be very difficult to man the ship here and find all the music that I have in my gigantic collection, as they say here. That's Jaka Bottilla and the Maros Gypsy Band, a fantastic orchestra from Marosvásárhely. I like to play you one more. This one is it's a tune that everybody or most everybody in the Táncház circles have heard. I call it the Frischcsárdas in F major. These guys call it the intro, but they have some very, very creative chord structures in this one. They fly all over the place in terms of the chords. Let's listen to Jaka Bottilla and the Maros Gypsy Band. To this. Wow, hey. What I love about Jaka Bottilla, he knows how to play fast, but he also knows how to play very slowly and so beautifully. A wonderful violinist. that spiccato. The big ending. Oh, I don't know what that was. And crazy. Tried to write those chords down and I got a cramp. That's Jakob Attila. Well, hello for people checking into the live show. Bence Kolan, a great supporter. Anastasia from San Francisco. And Magyar Hajdunémet Ildikó and the gang is together in Tiszato with Busajék as well. Greetings to you all. Speaking of Ildikó Magyar and Eletfa, I'd like to take you back to the beginnings of the Táncház movement in North America and in New York in particular. We had some bands playing already in late 70s, early 80s to the mid 80s, Hungarian folk music. In the New York, New Jersey area. Two I'd like to note in particular. One was a fantastically named band called the Malac Banda, the Pig Band, the Hog Band. And Malac Banda was led by a musician called Sim Jackendoff. Sim's from Philadelphia and then moved later to Pittsburgh. And Sim's a special guy in our lives because, in my family's life, because Sim was the first one to say, hey, you know, you should put your kids, tell my parents, you should put your kids into music and you should consider the Suzuki method. We talked about that in past episodes, and the rest is history. The Malac Banda was playing some cycles here and there, you know, in the Táncház, and then there was David Skews as well, who had a band, and they were playing in New York. They were very good, nice musicians. You know, though none of them were really devoted and dedicated to playing for dancers and playing for Tancházes. And of course, you know, this was also going on in Toronto, for instance, with Fekete Föld. There was a band actually called Eletfa as well in the 70s and 80s in Toronto. And, you know, mid 80s, actually it was around 87, and I remember we were sitting in Teaneck, New Jersey at my parents' house with my sister Ildikó and myself and Moroczeva, I think, and Papatila. They were the bass players. And by the way, speaking of Teaneck, it was so great to reconnect with some of my old Teaneck High School and Thomas Jefferson Middle School friends through this show. Some of them were checked on last time to say hello. Teaneck, New Jersey, northern New Jersey, about 8 to 10 minute drive to Manhattan, very conveniently located there. So we were talking what to name the band. I remember there was some books we were looking at, and we happened upon the name Eletfa, the Tree of Life, and that's what the band's name became. And we started playing in 1987-ish, and really the first three musicians were Papatila, myself, and my sister, and we stayed together for many, many years. And I wanted to bring you some old vintage tunes that you might recall from Eletfa. These are recorded in the album called Gyökereink, which is Eletfa's first full-length album. It was released in 1999, and the first track is music from Lőrincréve. And this is myself and Ildikó and Attila playing music from Lőrincréve, which was one of the first tunes that we played, and we decided to record it over 10 years after the band was formed. Let's listen to this, and it features the vocal stylings of my sister Ildikó and some nice old I'd call them vintage or nostalgia tunes. Lőrincrévi emlékek. recorded 1999, actually at the WNYC radio studios, downtown Manhattan. Lőrinc Révi on the album Gyökereink from Eletfa. Zina's asking who is singing. Well, my sister Ildikó is singing. Kati Lamont from Washington comments the Eletfa nostalgia. Indeed, I'm feeling it too. Oh. Those are really nice studios, the WNYC studios where we recorded this. It's old vintage Eletfa sounds. Eletfa was the first band in North America that was dedicated to playing Tancházes. And we did some stage shows, obviously, played for dance groups, did everything that a Hungarian folk band's supposed to do, but we really were the first ones to dedicate ourselves to the village folk music and folk and playing for the folk dances. So as we started the show, there are physical distancing guidelines that have been now announced by the Táncház Egyesület. You know, there's Beran Piku and that whole team of people in Hungary. Beran István used to play with Meta. So they have a medical team. The guy's name's not Dr. Fauci, it's Dr. Korci. Dr. Korci. And he has just issued physical distancing guidelines for the Táncház. And I would like you guys to share some ideas you might have. I'm happy to share them with him. First, physical distancing guidelines for Táncház is for Széki. There's no more Széki lassú, just way too close to each other, not properly distanced. Széki négyes is now Széki hármas. So no more 4 people together, now it's 3. You have to pick how you want to line up there. And the Széki men's dance, which is usually you face inside the circle, now you have to turn around and face outside. That's just for the breathing purposes. So those are some physical distancing guidelines from Dr. Korci of the Táncház Egyesület. Oh, and there's some more for coming out. I'll give you a quick view on these. For Palotkai, you know, the band's playing and you come with got one guy with the 2 girls, no more. This has to be one guy, one girl. It's properly physically distanced. And band, for the band distancing, there's only 1 kontra now for Palotkai. No more 2 kontras for Palotkai. So sorry about that. Physical distancing guidelines from the Táncház Egyesület. The Gyökereink CD that Eletfa did was interesting because Eletfa went through a change after I went to the Tamburitsins, and when I came back, musicians that were playing there under a band name called Zagyva joined forces with Eletfa and continued on as Eletfa, and that was Zagyva Natalia, who is in Hungary now, and Raúl Rothblatt from Brooklyn, and József Gartai, Heki. And Heki, of course, is quite the character and known by many people in our community here in New York and New Jersey and beyond. And by the way, I would like to say hello to everybody checking in. Jelko Zhivko from Chicago, Pop Imre, New Jersey, I think. And Reiko always tuning in before bedtime in Szarvas. Mr. Rancevik, play anything from Tarafti Hajduks. I have something better for you. So stay tuned. This next piece we called Cserkész Csokor, the songs of the Hungarian Scouts. And we get to hear Heki's voice on this as well after my sister sings the first verse. And these are songs that the Hungarian Scouts love to sing. And if you are one, you can sing along. This is Cserkész Csokor from old Eletfa recording from 1999. Oh, I stepped on that. Let's do it again. No, wrong one. Welcome to the live show. We just played that. Here we Eki!
Ha bemegyek a New Yorki csárdába,
a New Yorki csárdába,
cifranyelű kis bicskámat vágom a gerendába. Aki legény, az vegye ki, aki bátor, az teheti. Még az éjjel zsandárvérrel írom ki a nevemet.
I always liked Heki's voice, a nice timbre to it. More physical distancing guidelines. Cimbalom needs to reduce its strings down to 25% of capacity, so it's got to cut out 75% of its strings.
Vármegye ház udvarába, muzsikálnak éjféltájban.
That's me!
Ott is
My voice.
Muzsikálnak, hogy elvisznek katonának. Döntik a nagy erdő útját, viszik a magyar katonát, viszik Galíciába, messze idegen országba.
Physical distancing guidelines for the band. No more accordion at the Táncház. Sorry, accordion players.
Gyere fajtás katonának, jobb dolgod lesz, mint a bánnak. Nem kell kaszálni, kapálni, csak a lányok után járni. Nem kell kaszálni, kapálni, csak a lányok után járni.
This is a Hungarian tongue twister sang beautifully by Ildikó coming up.
Kis piricsi kalú végén folyik el a kanál, és ennyi leszek kis angyalom, ha bánja az anyád is. Cin-cin-cinárom, lebeteg a virágon, cin-cin-cinárom, lebeteg a virágon. Én megittek a palikát, nem tudtam hazamenni, kis piricsi kalú végén kocsit kellett fogadni. Cin-cin-cinárom, lebeteg a virágon, cin-cin-cinárom, lebeteg a virágon.
Cserkész Csokor from the album Gyökereink from Eletfa 1999 recording. And the last track I wanted to play from this CD, and by the way, I see people are a little confused. Attila Branyicki is asking, why must the cimbalom reduce its strings? Well, these are physical distancing guidelines from Dr. Korcsi of the Táncház Egyesület. By the way, these are not real. This is a part of the live show gag. And so there's more actually. Bass players are supposed to play from behind the bar, distance themselves from the other musicians. Ütő Gardon, instead of tuning to D, now the strings need to distance themselves from each other and they need to tune to a C sharp. Gardon has to tune to a C sharp, which might make for a very uncomfortable listen there. And Felcsiki, no more contraviolin, just the violin and the Gardon. So now you can't tell a difference really between Felcsiki and Gimes. Good luck. Anyway, there'll be some more of that as the show progresses. So I was talking about the continuation of Eletfa, kind of version 2, and now we're up to version 3 or version 4 of Eletfa, but back then in the 90s, Natalia and Raúl and Heki were playing with us, and there we took some trips down to Louisiana, and this is a very interesting background here of the Hungarians in Louisiana. And by the way, greetings to people checking in. Adam Miasik from my old neighbor from Toronto. Horváth Petty, probably making dinner in New York. Enya di Linda Néni, servus Linda Néni from Detroit. Joasha is checking in. You're probably in Edmonton, I'm guessing, right now. So let's talk about the Hungarians in Louisiana. In the late 1800s, there were some farms that were hiring, strawberry farms actually were hiring for people, and they put some advertisements out to some newspapers, and a bunch of Hungarians bid on the advertisement, and actually from most of them were from Michigan initially, came down to what they called Albany, Louisiana, and it's a farm town. Well, it's it's outside of Baton Rouge, and it's a lovely place. And they called it Árpád-hon, and this is the home of the Hungarians in Louisiana. And books have been written about these people, and lectures have been given, and it's a really wonderful, special place. But since 1896, these Hungarians are proud to call Louisiana their home. And in 1996, they were looking for a band for their 100th anniversary. They wanted a real Hungarian band to play real Hungarian folk music, and to play for their harvest dance, because these strawberry farmers made the best strawberry wine. And this was a big deal. They've been doing this dance since the early 1900s, this Sudet, in every October, this harvest dance. And we were invited, and we went down, not just 1 year, 2 years, but a couple of years. And we went down in various formations, but it was always a group of folks from Eletfa, and we had a wonderful time. And we learned a lot of songs from Helen Nyeki, Helen Néni, who's a wonderful singer and a great character, and our host when we were down there. And I really don't want to single anyone else out, because I wouldn't do them justice, because there are many people, scores of people there who showed us their kindness and really showed us maybe how Hungarian we will be in 4 or 5 generations down the line. You know what I mean? Like, we might not speak, or our grandchildren, great-grandchildren might not end up speaking the language because we're living in the US or Canada or Australia or wherever, South America or wherever, but they're very proud and very nation-loving Hungarians. And they're also quite talented in terms of their singing and their dancing, and we always had a wonderful time with them. I can tell many stories, but I like to tell a Heki story. 1 year, no one else can go except Raúl and Heki could go to Louisiana, so we arranged for Hrúz Dénes to come from Duvő. And you have to know that Hrúz Dénes is a great singer, and for males, the singing voice in Hungarian music is usually D, the key of D major, D minor. That's the comfortable singing, just the way that the songs are put together and the notes. And Heki is a contra player who prefers to play in the key of A. He gets by on the key of A. So I told Frus Danish before they traveled down to Louisiana, and they went to play a gig in New Orleans, and then they played at the Carpathians, the Hungarian harvest dance. I said, look, just so you know, you try to stay in the key of A, everything will be fine. Just, because Heki prefers to play in the key of A. Well, they went down there, they came back, I gave Danish a call, I said, how was it? And Danish said, I'll say it in Hungarian first. Hát nagyon jól éreztünk magunkat, én D-be játszottam, vagy énekeltem, Heki pedig A-ba, mind a ketten jól éreztük magunkat. So basically, Danish said he played in the key of D and sang in the key of D. Heki played in A, and they both had their own, separate great times. So that was a very funny Danish story, and we did a track dedicating some music to the folks in Carpathians, and like to listen into that. That's before we move on to the next CD. This is the Eletfa CD Gyökereink. This is called Carpathians. I sing a bit on this. Let's fast forward a little. And this is Sudár Magas, great song. It's an old nota song, and these people generally knew their notas. Their favorite song was Az a Szép. Everybody kind of knew that down there. And this is a clip from there. Heki playing the contra for me.
Sudár magas, anyám fotelje, halvány sárga, de halvány sárga, annak a levele. Én is olyan,
Now the cello sneaks in, Raoul Rothblatt playing the cello.
Volt szeretőm egy csinos barna kislány, de már rég elhagyott. De majd egyszer hűtlen a babám, összetalálkozunk. Megyünk mi egymás mellett, hogy még nem is szólunk. De még jobbra hűtlen babám, én meg megyek balra. Sárba taposom a fényképedet, nem veszlek el soha.
Attila Pop on the bass, and Zagyva Nati on the second violin, and I think Ildikó sneaks in here as well. The whole Eletfa band back in '99.
Sárba taposom a fényképedet, nem veszlek el soha.
So then the track goes on, and they have all these interesting old dances that at the Harvest Festival that they dance, and Miss Helen Nieki taught us all these songs, and she loved singing them. This is kind of one of her songs as well. sometimes we would play these they would send us these dances to play that honestly I've never heard of these. It's like a mashup of various pieces all together. Here's one of them. Another physical distancing guideline. Vajdasentiványi kerchiefs. For the girls, they have to be disposable from now on. I'll get to some other ones in the later. Later. No more chuyogatás. Sorry, from now on it has to be only sign language because of the saliva.
Sárga csikó, sárga nyereg rajta. Ez a kislány, jaj, de nagyon árva. Megmutatom, nem lesz mindig árva. Szüret után én leszek a várja. Megmutatom, nem lesz mindig árva. Szüret után én leszek a várja.
Hello, everybody still checking in. Joe Gornick from Chicago, Mikey Sabo, right on time for the Nota from Toronto, Samantha Wagner from Toronto, Laci Horvat liked the Nettibashi show from Regina. Thank you, Laci. Raul, I have tons of photos from those trips, he says. I'm sure we do. I know, I've seen them online. Hi, Raul. Nice to hear from you. Know when to tune in, I'll tell you.
Kislány minden este kiállnak a túlba. Oda várja a csőszlegény édes mézes csókra. A csőszlegény a babáját kebellére zárja. Megígéri szület után, ő lesz majd a párja.
That's a nice old track from Eletfa. Nice to go back memory lane with some of these now over 20-year-old recordings. And speaking of old recordings, I want to change it up a bit and talk about a project that I did in around 2003 and a couple of years after that with a good friend and cimbalom player who played a lot from with Eletfa, Alexander Fedoriuk. Alex Fedoriuk is a very talented cimbalom player from Ukraine, and he moved to initially to Yonkers, New York, and then he went to the Tamburitsins, and then he ended up in Cleveland, where he's been for many, many years now. And Alex and I had an idea to do a project, something that would combine our passions for folk music and for jazz. And you know, we kind of call this genre ethno jazz, although it might not be the best name for it. But basically, we take the folk music and we put a little jazzy twist on it. We take some liberties with it, and voila, it becomes something new. And in 2003, I was still living in Morristown, New Jersey, and I had actually that was in Rockaway, New Jersey. I had a basement studio, and Alex and I made this CD. He drove in from Cleveland on 2 separate weekends, and I had laid the tracks down, a lot of the basic tracks, and he played on top of that, and he added his instruments, so he plays the cimbalom and the accordion and the drums, and I played the bass and the guitar and all kinds of various things, and we just didn't have a name for it. And Alex was driving home from one of these recording weekends, and he on Route 80 around the Poconos, and there's this mall called The Crossings, And when he got home, he called me and he said, I got the name, Crossing Paths. And that became the name of our project, Crossing Paths. And we made a CD, which we released in 2003. And we got some nice reviews. I really enjoyed making it, and I really enjoyed listening to it after many years. And I took this off the shelf, and I want to play a few tracks from there. This one is called Trading Aces. Trading Aces. And this is viola and cimbalom at the beginning. Hello, Lizzie Erzsike néni. Mama Kovács from Winnipeg. Szia. Hello, Melanie Goldberg. Now we lay the theme down, and there's some improvising on top of that here. Alex has played for a long time with the Harmonia Band of Cleveland, very well-known band there. Walt Mahovlich and Branyo on the bass and many others, and of course his beautiful wife and amazing singer, Alex's wife Beata, in that band as well. Let's listen to some more Trading Aces, Crossing Paths. Trading Fours. That's Trading Aces from Crossing Paths. You know, the challenge then was, well, I'd love to play some live shows, right? But me and Alex, just the two of us, you know, because this was done on the studio, and we couldn't just do the violin and the cimbalom. So we decided to invite some guest musicians to join us and make Crossing Paths the live show. And we booked some dates. We played at the Trumpets Jazz Club in Montclair, and we played out in Cleveland at a jazz club. I forget the name of that place now. And we played at the Hungarian House for the Balkan Night. And, boy, where else did we play? Oh, Pittsburgh Javort Club we played. So we did two different weekends, little mini tours, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. And the last gig I recorded, and I'll tell you who was in the band, because it's a very special band. We needed a bass player, we thought, and a guitarist. So we invited Kruno Spisic, probably one of the finest Django Reinhardt style guitarists in North America, probably in the world, in my opinion. But also Kruno's a fabulous former tambourine himself, and a tambura player, and just a very, very good singer and musician and dancer as well. So we invited Kruno Spisic, who's now in Philadelphia, and we played in the Philadelphia Ukrainian Hall as well. And then we asked Paul Brown to play the bass, a great bass player, very well known in the Balkan folk music scene. And I recorded the last gig in Cleveland. You have some BSing in the background and some talking, but let's listen to a track called Jelem Jelem, which is a wonderful gypsy song, song of the Roma that everybody knows. And greetings to everybody checking in. Kunka Chila, formerly from Venezuela, now in Vienna. Miriam, hello Miriam, Duke, hello. Sako and Chrissy. This is romantic.
Jelem Jelem.
That's Kruno Spisic singing.
Malagdile szukare dromia. Jelem jelem lumone dromia. Malagdile szukare dromea.
Raul Rothblatt asks what he can do to convince me to quit the law and tour with Alex Fedoriuk full time. There's a price for that, Raul. Call my agent. So many wonderful things happened. Every night we played something different, I remember. me on backup vocal, trying my best to keep up. This live show was probably 2005-ish. We have some more physical distancing guidelines from the Táncház Egyesület. Dr. Karcsi, not Dr. Fauci, Dr. Karcsi says, you know, we sing that song, Gyere pajtás, ígyunk már, éljen a barátság. We pass the bottle around. No more. Can't do that anymore. Sorry. Everybody's so excited to rejoin this band and get this band back together. I see some interest out there. Kati Lomant, how about a concert in Washington? Let's make it happen. Kruno's greatness. Listen to this. Crowd love it. Crossing Paths. That was the live show. Now, it sounds like we're going to bring it back. Hello everybody checking in. Polkovic Valer, Servus from Toronto. Page, Eli Page from Carolina. Kocsis Enikő stopped in as well from Budapest. And Moroz Eva from Connecticut. Hello everybody listening. You know, playing music from Alex, I was thinking, it reminded me of another guy from Harmonia, Andrei Pitkivka. And now I'd like to play something from a group that I put together with Andre for just a weekend. You know, I'm very, very lucky that to have played all these gigs all over the place and some very special musicians, not just my own bands, of course, and Eletfa and Gyanta, which are my quote-unquote full-time Hungarian folk bands, but over the years, but what with some guest artists and for some of these fun projects like Crossing Paths. And some things get recorded, not everything does, but I'm happy that they do. Andrei Pitkivka, who's an amazing, like a panpipe and a shepherd's flute, and he'll play anything. He'll play the bottom of a chair, this guy, a tennis racket. I mean, anything you could try to blow into, this guy will play it, and he's unbelievable. And he's also a professional flautist. And me and him, we needed to put together a band for a festival, music festival in London. Not London, Ontario, but the London, in London, England. It's called the St. Cecilia Tide Festival. And this takes place at Stationers Hall, downtown London, right next to St. Paul's Cathedral. I gotta tell you guys, it was like the most beautiful place I ever played. No microphones, very acoustic, and very cool. And when we were also in London, we played at the Fiddler's Elbow, which was a cool club that we played at. We also played at the Hungarian Cultural Center in London that weekend. So we needed to put together a band, and I invited two fabulous Táncház musicians that many of you know. They used to play with the Duve group, and it's Tóth Gergő, who played the kontra, and Terék Józsi, who played the bass. And these are fantastic musicians, Táncház musicians. You know, they also like to play other type of music, a little more modern, contemporary stuff as well. So they're very, kind of like me. They're all over the place, but their real, upbringing was in the folk music. And I said, guys, we need to bring a cimbalom player as well for this gig, and they said they know somebody, a Slovak guy called Desider. Is it Desider? It's like Dezső, but in Hungarian or in Slovak language, and Desider. Ola Desider is his name. And I said, well, we better be good because, this is a big concert, Stationers Hall, St. Cecilia Tide Music Festival, sophisticated audience watching, not a lot of rehearsal. We kind of show up and do it. We'll have like a couple hours beforehand. And he said, yeah, no problem. They assured me that Desider was no joke. Well, he was no joke. He was amazing. We needed a band name, and we named the band the Carpathian Invasion. And we ended up playing a really nice 2 times 45 minutes concert. And I like to play some tracks. This was never been played before to the public, and I hope you enjoy it. This first one is some music from Magyar Bőd, which many we play in the Táncházes, and you'll hear the quality is not the best. It's very, very echoey, but this was kind of how the room sounded. But we'll get into some of these tracks. Magyar Bőd. We called this band the Carpathian Invasion, and we had a lot of fun. You can see we don't play the really authentic style. It was a kind of more arranged or stylized, but it really fit that occasion and fit the crowd. Bow tie wearing, you know, stuffy kind of English folks. They had no idea what to expect, and they got this type of music. And they were, you know, the night before us, it was like a string quartet playing or something very fancy like that, and it was very cool to kind of give them this. And they were very nervous. I remember the organizers, what are you going to do? What are you going to play? And I told them not to worry about anything. I got Desi Derola from Slovakia. Don't worry. I showed them, yeah, we showed them. People checking in, Moro Zergineni from New Jersey. Sebestin Marta, I've heard of you. I talked about you the other day in a good way. From Budapest. Krivari Lian, Veres Shani, hello everybody. Sia Ivor. Let's listen to some stuff that we played with Andrei. Listen to that crowd. Oh, it is fantastic, chap. I'll say. Yes, I'll say. Sirba. This was after the break. People were turning in their teas and their pastries. You could hear some plates clanging. Cymbalum was shaking, man, when that guy was playing. There's Andrei Pitkivka. Play a little piece. This is the panpipe from Moldova. Moldvai, we have some more physical distancing guidelines. Moldvai circles can now only have 2 people. That's not much of a circle, is it? But Moldvai circles at the Táncház only 2 people now. And also when we do the kecskés, we go around with the partner. The girls cannot move forward, so everyone has to stay with the same partner during kecskés, which I think is silly, but Dr. Korchi says physical distancing is necessary at Táncház. So we could listen. Maybe one day I'll devote a whole episode of we'll listen to the Crossing Paths concert, and then we'll listen to the Carpathian Invasions concert in London. But you know, I have to play it. It's not done at Táncház, but I know I have some nota-loving people on here. So you know, we played an encore, Pacsirta, the Lark, which I know everybody generally loves, and this was a really cool arrangement of it. So that we played with the Carpathian Invasions. So let's hear that before we play some Táncház music.
For the bird sound, we will imitate the sounds of the birds.
That's me talking to the Brits. Here ya say. Are coughing. That's the rooster, Kakosh. They shot the bird there. Band joke. Now the band comes back in. Andrei Pitkivka is the best bird imitator probably in the world. The whole zoo he's got. It's got to end at some point. Oh, here we go. Finally. That. That's the time Carpathian Invasion played in London. Nice old memories, and very happy to have that recorded. I think I recorded that with 2 different devices, and then somehow I merged them together when I flew back from London back to New Jersey. I like to play bring it back to the Táncház and play a track from probably, in my view, one of the best CDs that's come out in the last few years. And this is Üstürű and Heveder together. And the CD is named Csávás Iram. Csávás Iram. And I know Zsigi, our friend Zsigi, did a lot of work putting that together. But the arrangements are very unique, very beautiful, of course, very true to form and true to the original as well. And this is a really nice CD, Csávás Iram. If you can get it, you should try. PM me if you want, or DM me, and I'll try to hook you up. People coming in as well. Lucky Takács Péter, Servus. Chris Black, wow. Attila Branyicki writing, I'm trying to keep up, Attila, with you. I will probably write back to you later. John Walter, hello. Dana Lynn, Bala Shani as well from Toronto. Michael Meach, what was the song with the panpipes? No, it was really Moldavian, like Romanian Moldavian. And Sia Chibi Balaj. We're listening into Üstürű and Heveder's CD Csávás Iram. Listen to this nice keserves. Fazakas Levi singing beautifully. This is in the Roma language, not Hungarian. Jaj, Devla, szia Évi, Judit Virág, szia!
De ma Devla Somanga Marva Hivo Menamanga Daidela Edenuma Bhakti Sastivo
Hello, Ron Schatzmiller from Pasadena, California. Éva Váradi, ez cigányul van, jól mondod. From Edmonton. Another physical distancing guideline. Elvesztettem zsebkendőmet. You know, I lost my kerchief. You put it down to kiss. No more kissing. You have to just lock your legs together or bump your elbows. Physical distancing guidelines from the Táncház Egyesület. band from, this is Heveder and Usturu together playing music from Szászcsavás. This was the village from whence my wife and I's wedding band came from when we got married in 2001. The band from Szászcsavás was there. It's a great Roma gypsy music from Szászcsavás. You hear that accompaniment on the contra? Also, if you have a perfect pitch, this piece might bother you because they tune up the violins and all the instruments just a little bit. It's not A 440, but it's like 446, 448 hertz. So they bring it up a little, and it sounds even better, more tight. Song you might know from some other regions as well. Very popular song. This is called the Halott Kísérő. It's accompanying the dead. Very sad, actually. I shouldn't be smiling when I say that. Back the dead with the waltz. That's music from Csavás Iram, the album. Couple minutes left here. I want to play a few more songs for you. There's an interesting connection between Riverdance and Hungary, or Hungarians. And there must be many connections, but Riverdance, remember the Irish spectacle, the big show? And if you saw them live, and even on recording, you might have heard an instrument called the gudulka, or the kaval as well, various Bulgarian and Balkan instruments, played by a guy called Nikola Parov. And you might not think it's a Hungarian name, and it's not. It's a Bulgarian name, but his Nikola's dad, at least, is from Bulgaria and emigrated to Hungary. And Nikola is Hungarian, lives in Hungary, and he's a fabulous, fabulous world musician. And he really focuses on the Balkan music. And he played on the Riverdance, with the Riverdance for years, toured with them. And I have a lot of respect for him and his music. And lately, he's been playing with Hertzku Agnes, who's a very known folk singer that you might have heard of. And she's played with all kinds of various bands. She sang with all kinds of groups such as Salonna and the Hungarian State Folk Ensemble and others. And I like to play a track from Agi and Nikola's album, which is called Bandázom, and the song is called Megfújták a szelek. This is an arranged song but there's a aspect of mezőségi and an aspect of the the arranged and some Balkan music mixed in there. And then one day I'll tell you the story about my experience auditioning, not for Riverdance, but something similar called the Cirque du Soleil, which you might have heard of. And I did audition for them many years ago, about 20 years ago, and I'll save that story for some later episode to keep you hooked. But let's listen to Riverdance alumnus Nikola Parov and his group, and Herceg Ági singing on this Megfújták azok a szelek. That's Nikola playing the violin, but because he plays the Bulgarian style gadulka, he plays it on his knee actually, so he's playing it like this. Interesting.
Megfújtak azok a szelek, virágom, virágom, kibe rózsám, szerettelek, virágom, virágom, de még azok is megfújnak, virágom, virágom, kiben el kell felejtsenek, virágom, virágom.
Now it's kind of starting to creep into some Transylvanian material here. Does sound like Riverdance a bit. Some great Hungarian Táncház musicians on here. Fegedűs Máté, Pálházi Bence, Kis Puma, Fekete Márton on the contra, Molnár Péter on the bass. Most of the instruments, of course, played by Nikola Parov. Just when you're about to put your boots on and start dancing with your partner, it kind of goes back to the arranged version. I like this. I really like this. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I see some nice thumbs up and nice comments. Sing along. Well, that's Megfújták azok a szelek, a really nice piece, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. It's something new, something different. not so new. It's a couple of years old now, I think. But so we're coming close to the end of the show, and I wanted to give you an update on where we are in terms of the technology. So Tanchaz.com is up, and you can go up and download or listen to live these the audio versions of these episodes right there. You could also go to YouTube and subscribe to the page, and you could, that's not important to watch, but at least listen to the episodes. I'm trying to break through on the podcast front in terms of subscription podcasts, but I'm running into some major difficulty with the with the copyright police, and I should know better. But being a lawyer and all that, but it's not going to be so easy to make a podcast because I'm playing all this great music. I'd rather just keep playing the music. We'll figure that out maybe. Or we'll just keep it as it is right now. And I'm happy you guys are all enjoying what I'm doing. And I know I'm enjoying. I always prepare for more than I can play for you. And spread the word to your friends, please, if you can, about the show and about this. This is really the only English language program in the world that focuses primarily on Hungarian folk music. And, of course, we touch on other aspects as well. I'd like to thank all of you guys for staying and for joining in and for your comments, and it's nice to see people connecting with each other as well. And I wanted to play something here. From an old Kodai concert. So all the festivals and all the performances, of course, were canceled because of the pandemic, but. We think fondly back with from these old performances. Many are up on YouTube. This one actually was luckily recorded. This is the Kodai's year-end concert from 2014, and that I played on violin with Heveded, and Konc Gergő was there as well playing violin. And this is the full band setup that we had that day. I forget now exactly where this performance was. But we played Kalotaszegi, Sucsági, choreography I think by Zsuravszky Zoltán Jr. and Szabó Judit. This was a nice sounding band that night, and a nice recording as well. And you could hear Kodai dancing in the background. Let's turn it on here. Oh, they're already clapping. It hasn't even started yet. There we go. So I'll be back next week with some new episodes, and thanks again for tuning into Tanchaz Talk. And my name was is still Kalman Magyar Öcsi, and broadcasting from Toronto. And you can check this episode out on YouTube and Tanchaz.com after we are done. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, and of course the physical distancing guidelines were not real. Another one I thought of was, the family game we play, Apa, Anya, Fiú, Lány, and you all have to sit in a chair. Now it's just Apa. Another physical distancing guideline is that you could only dance every other dance, so you have to pace yourself now as a dancer. And let's see. That's really it. If you have any more physical distancing guidelines, throw them over to me. I'd love to hear them. Ensemble from Toronto, one of the oldest groups on the continent, 60 years old now, 60! everybody for tuning in. Shalom Onandi, Detroit. Kati Lamont from Washington, always. Virag Judith, Calgary, thank you. Hoda Tomasz, Michael Mitch, as always. And Andrew Timar. Michael Mitch from the States, from Philadelphia. Thank Timar Andrew from Kodai. Oh, you used to dance in Kodai. No kidding, you're in the chorus under Zoduban Bachi. That's amazing, wow. Attila Branicki, first time, I'm glad you loved it. Uncle Charlie, my Uncle Charlie Vamoshi from New York. Hello, Carol Carnahan from Washington, Troinsky Andrea, Detroit, Webster Fura, Upitsburgu, Upitsburgu. This was a great concert. Busha Inorbi and Juji were dancing as well, and Kodoba Florin was there from Magyar Palatka. All here in Toronto, 2014. Michael Mitch is from New Jersey. Sorry, I thought you were half Pennsylvania. Vegyeri Józsi from Chicago. Szia. Gabi, Vasi Gabi. Szia. From Calgary. I hope this gets you into the dancing mood. Come on, dancers, stay on beat. Let's go, boys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.